just fine, Carrie, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So for those of you who want to be on camera, that's absolutely fine. Please avail yourself of that. And if you don't, that's fine too. We can hear you just fine. And like I said, when we get into the session as it starts to go, with the teachers, we'll turn off everybody's mics so that we don't have background noise or feedback or whatever. And oh gosh, it's just so good to see everybody's names popping up here. That's great. I wasn't sure if anyone would want to do it in the daytime because it's holiday season and it's so busy. So I really thank you all for being here today. So we'll give it just a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. There are a couple of, some details that I always go over every time with everybody so that we can all have a great experience. But if you guys want to turn on your video and say hello to each other while we're waiting for people to sign on, that's great. We'll give them just another couple minutes and then we'll get started. I see David, I see Nadia. Hi, Nadia, it's good to see you.
Hi, hello.
And Philip's here. Let's see. Hi, oh my goodness, how are you? This is great to see everybody, that's wonderful. And Anne's here. Hi, Anne. Good, and there's Kosta Makreas.
Hi, Debz.
Welcome, Mr. Goose. How are you?
Oh,
it's good to see you.
Oh, yeah, it's good to see you too. Vlahos is here.
Hi. Right out of the oven. I'll be back.
All right. Well,
there's a bun in the oven or bread in the oven. Sorry, literally bread. Yeah, sorry.
Yum. That sounds good. I look a little scruffy. I just came from yoga class, so I was racing to get back here. So
Debz, you make scruffy look good, Debz.
Oh, you're such a charmer, such a charmer. So there's Fernanda. Hello, Fernanda. How are you? Good to see you.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I was just telling everybody I just got back from yoga class with my beloved, so I'm 100% full up and ready to go. I'm excited about today. Yeah,
I'm just waking up. I'm here in Australia, so I'm a bit far away.
I know. Well, thank you for doing that. This is part of the theme of today's program is balancing the hemispheres. And not just in the brain. So they said, usually I just host one of these at a time. And they said, no, you have to host two so that you can get people from different hemispheres of the world and you're not making them get up at 2 in the morning to do it, which a lot of you, bless your souls, have done before. And that's not fair. So I will be, as we do this, I try to do this every month to 4 or 5 weeks at a time. Depending on how busy I get too, but here in the future, as today, we'll be offering at least 2 within a 24-hour period where, and we'll mix it up, like maybe I'll do it at 5 a.m. my time so that we can get people from across the world, during their daytime hours as well. Yeah. So, but thanks for coming in. And let's see, who's that? There's Michelle, Elizabeth. It's great to see all of you. Just making sure we've got everybody synced up here. Okay, so we'll get started. Just a few housekeeping things here. Oh, I don't know why my video went out. A few housekeeping things here. As we get to, after we get past our little, initial visitations phase, I will mute all of your microphones just so that we don't have extemporaneous background noise or feedback happening, so that you all have a great experience. I'm just the same as anybody else. I have no idea that my microphone is picking up all kinds of crazy stuff in the background. Like, I've had people get on and their partner's doing dishes in the other room or something, and it picks it up and it causes all this clatter in the background. And when we get into the channeling part, and of course they're going to do a kind of a guided journey. I don't really know what they're going to do, but it's going to need to be quiet. So I'm going to mute all of your microphones for that. And then, and also if you want, you can turn your video off for that too, because they're going to have you do eyes closed anyway for part of it. The teachers will come in and just start. And for those of you who are new to the Star Teachers, just know we've been working together so closely for so long now that it's really hard to tell when it's me and when it's them sometimes, other than they're way wiser than I am and more direct. But what they've told me today is that we're going to get started with, you know, once we get these little details done, we're going to get started with some yogic breath work first to start balancing the hemispheres of our brains so that we can raise our frequency high enough to make good, coherent contact with them during the program. And that is going to be embedded in your memory tracks and in your energy bodies so that you'll continue to do that at least once a day to keep your vibration high, because that's part of the message today, is balancing your hemispheres, balancing the divine masculine, divine feminine in the body and in the energy body, and raising the vibration up the central channel of your astral spine to activate the pineal gland and have you become more receptive to those higher frequency communications from ET beings, from your spirit guides, from your ancestors, your future selves, and so forth. So I will start with that breath work. And I highly recommend, while I'm kind of giving this little housekeeping stuff, if you have a stuffy nose or you're suffering from a little cold or something, you might want to have some Kleenex handy and a little drink of water or something handy for the program, just so you'll be comfortable. And of course, we encourage you to only do as much as feels good to you. And we will, as a group, lift each other up in frequency as well. That's why I wanted so many people to get on today. The bigger the group, the more powerful the coherency is, and the easier it is for us to make contact. So we'll do a little breath work. And as I'm guiding the breath work from what they're telling me, they'll just kind of start to chime in, and they will give more instruction and more of a guided journey to bring DNA activation going, and to bring into activation and integration of the information that's coming through once you open up that's transceiver that is here in the middle part of your brain, the pineal gland. And then there's going to be some imprinting done, and all of it is going to be customized for each one of you. Each one of us will get what we need individually, but as a group as well. So you may not notice when I kind of go into my little space as we merge and they start to take over, but eventually all you're going to hear is them. And after that, they will give kind of a little educational piece, or a little pep talk, if you will, give some more information on how we're doing in our ascension process and what we need to do next. And then we'll open up, once we're finished with that, we'll open up the floor to questions and answers. And that's when you all get to interact with them, and, you know, feel free to ask anything you like, and they'll interact with you and answer questions. And just know throughout the whole program, you're going to be getting all of this energy work coming through, of course, energetically, but especially through the sound of my voice, when we're looking at each other through my eyes, and then on other dimensions and frequencies that I don't even know about yet, but that's what they're telling me. So so that's kind of the program, and feel free to interact as much as possible. The only other piece of housekeeping I'd like to say is that since we do have such a large group and we do want to get to everyone's questions at the end, I ask that you all keep your microphones muted and use the raise hands function on this Zoom account. And if you don't know what that means, I would say go either, depending on what device you're using, either at the top of your panel or one of the sides. There's a little toolbar that's says mute with a microphone, video, camera, share computer, and then there's participants. When you go into participants, there's a chat function there where you can chat with each other or leave messages or information for everyone. And then let's see, where is that raised hands function? Gosh, no, I can't find it. And there should be a little function here to raise your hand. And if you can't find it, just, if you're on camera, just raise your hand. If you're on your phone and you don't have a camera, I'm sorry, there won't be a way to raise your hand, but towards the end, I will just ask everyone one more time if there's anyone else who wants to ask a question, then you can just be kind and ask one at a time. It usually works out just fine. Usually that whole time they're coming through me, so I'm not really present in my conscious awareness, and they just make my body function. So I will be taking the questions and telling.
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the way you talk. I need your permission to help.
Who is that? Did you guys hear that? That was weird.
No, I think that might have been me, so I'm going to turn off my audio.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Thank you. Well, now I'm getting it. They're saying that was somebody's Siri or Alexa or something talking. So anyway, it's a lot easier than it sounds, and you'll get the gist of it once we get to going. Let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, David Malley. Thanks, David, for telling us this. You click on your name to raise your hand under the participants logo. So you'll see a little human head icon there. You click on that, it says participants, then you can click on your name and that'll raise your hand. And then they'll call out your name and then unmute your audio, and then you can ask your questions. But that's towards the end, and we'll get back to that later. So anyway, again, welcome to all of you, especially those of you who just clicked on. This is one of two Star Teacher interactive channeling sessions today. And feel free to get on the other one if you can make that work for your time zone and your energy later on tonight, about 6 hours from now. But so we'll get started here. The first thing I wanted to talk about is that there is a great event that's coming up that is very important to all of us on December 22nd, which is part of the solstice, the winter solstice, and it's called the Day of Good News. It was perpetuated by Kosta Makreas at ET Let's Talk, and I'm part of their team. And I just think it's a brilliant idea, but that whole day, we're being asked to, on social media, post nothing but good news. And you can start that at any time. Now, I've been doing it for a long time. Basically, it's to initiate a practice of being more positive and getting away from paying attention to or perpetuating negativity out there, because it has become so habitual, especially in the social media world, that we do it without thinking. We just pass on stories about terror or trauma or, the next bad thing that's being pushed off on us, or the next conspiracy theory. And so anyway, Kosta, are you still here? I want you to talk about it because you can talk about it way better than I can.
Oh, thank you, Debz.
Thanks.
Actually, what you just said to, I'm getting a feedback here.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Debz, for highlighting the Day of Good News on December 22. What you just said in introducing it, I could not have said any better. You just so aptly described what it is we're asking people to do and why we're doing it. And just to reiterate, on that day, in whatever time zone you are during December 22nd, doesn't matter where you're located on the earth, it's all about your local time. If you could just post one, at least one good news story on whatever social media that you're on, And you can always post more. And actually, you can start right after we're done here today if you want. But
Yeah.
we're choosing that particular day to focus and send out a flood of good news all over social media, all over the world, from as many of us as we can motivate to do that. So please let your friends know. We're asking everyone to find 2 people and tell them about this. And we're also asking everyone to refrain on that day from posting anything negative, so that what we're putting out is nothing but positive, good news stories that are going to raise the vibration of the whole planet. If you understand that mass media feeds us, as Debz was saying, negativity all the time, it's as if you had a bottle of poison, and every single day when you get on mass media, you're drinking a little bit of it. You know, what would that do to you over time, not just on a daily basis? So we're trying to reverse that. We're throwing away that bottle of negativity and creating our own good news, taking our power back and becoming the media, and instead holding a container of a refreshing drink full of nutrients that we're going to be drinking from every day and offering it to everyone else. So I invite everyone to join us on December 22nd. Gratitude in advance for doing that. Nothing like this has been tried before, so this is a one-of-a-kind, unique experience that actually we hope will grow after the 22nd. We're going to create a permanent group and invite all of you and many more people to be doing this all the time. But for right now, we got to start somewhere. So December 22nd is it. And you can come to adayofgoodnews.com to get links of good news websites where you can actually find good news. If you can't find it otherwise, there's many links there of people who aggregate it. And all you have to do is do us all the favor of grabbing the URL, posting it, and getting other people to do the same thing on December 22nd. So that's a day of good news. It's one word, adayofgoodnews.com. And I thank you all in advance. This is wonderful. And I'm really happy to have you as part of the team and to be allies with us. So thank you again.
Thanks, Kosta. And I think that you had like a 3-point action plan for people, didn't you, for that day? Not just posting good news, but didn't you have a couple of other points that you wanted to talk about first before we get off of this?
Well, I kind of did mention those. Maybe I forgot one. One crucial thing is to get this to grow. So tell 2 other people. I mean, if you have a huge mailing list or you know someone who has 1 million Twitter followers, please tell them. And we hope this grows on its own. It's not about me. I had the idea to start it, but really every single person who participates in this is as powerful as it comes, because you're at the center of your universe and you can create your own networks and inform other people. So this is really empowering everybody. The other point I did mention, which was don't post anything negative.
Right.
And also just post at least 1 good news story. So there were 3 points. I will mention a 4th, though, and that is pay attention consciously to your news feed or whatever social media you're on, and see if you can notice if there's an uptick, if there's in the volume of good news that you're seeing. This would be the feedback that you see that tells you that something is happening out there, that this idea has caught hold and that the news that you sent out is coming back to you. So I ask people just to be a little bit conscious and share the good news story. If you see a good uptick in your news feed, well, on the following days, share it with us and say, hey, there was a doubling of good news. Let's do this again. We're going to keep this rolling and building on itself, self-perpetuating. So that's the whole idea. It's all the power that we have in our hands to become the media and to create something positive instead of just waiting passively to being spoon-fed poison by the regular mass media around the world. So I hope I covered that, Debz, unless there's something else that you can think of.
No, thank you. I just wanted to hear it again, kind of in the 3 points, and maybe I was busy in my mind doing something else when you spoke about it before, but I just wanted to make sure everybody understood. That's kind of the action plan that we're going to try to incorporate on that day, and then hopefully we make it a daily practice. Hopefully we make it a lifelong practice of being consciously aware about, what we're putting out there, because remember, what we put out there is what we get back. So anyway, thank you so much, Kosta. And everyone, just know Kosta's been so instrumental in helping us get more word out about the STAR teachers and about the work we do. And we just are so grateful to you for everything that you do, having built this huge People's Disclosure and Love Alliance movements, and now doing this good news movement. It's just amazing what you're doing for the world. So we just want to say thank you.
Thank you. It takes more than one person to do this. It takes a team. So this is a group effort. Everybody matters.
It takes the community.
So cool.
It sure does. So thank you. So, okay, well, thanks so much. And then if everybody is cool, I'm going to mute all of you and we'll get started. And again, for those of you who came on just a little later and maybe didn't hear this, we're going to start today with, I don't know why my video keeps going off. We're going to start with a little bit of breath work. So again, you go at your own pace and make sure that you are, not trying too hard. We don't want you to try. We want you to make sure that you're, hold on just a second. I'm muting everybody because we're getting feedback. I just want to make sure that you're all feeling comfortable. It should be a pleasurable experience. And again, the reason why we're doing breath work is to raise our vibration personally and as a group collective. Why do we want to raise our frequency? So that we can meet the STAR teachers at least halfway. It's very difficult for beings who are in such a high frequency to make contact with us cohesively because there's such a disparate, I don't want to say distance because there's really no space, but there's just a disparate separation between us in our conscious awareness. So if we bring our frequency up quite much higher than we are in our usual day-to-day, work-a-day lives, we're going to start receiving much more information. And this is part of the reasons why I do this too, because I want all of you to know that you are just as capable of receiving and transmitting information and healing and all of the things that I do as me or anyone else who does this. All humans have this capacity. This is part of what the teachers want you to know, is that you are part of this unlimited, infinite collective of beings. And we're just trying to remind you of your superpowers, if you will. So once again, I'm going to come in here because it looks like we got more people. I want to mute everybody. And then I want to make sure that you get very comfortable and just take a few moments. If you need to blow your nose or, do anything to make your breathing more comfortable, please do that now. We'll take just a second to get everybody ready. And then just some simple breath work. And as I said, as I'm doing the breath work, from what I understand, the teachers are just going to come in and start taking over at some point. So there won't be any kind of introduction that's just going to happen. So don't be shocked. Just go with the flow, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is very, very simple breath. We're going to take your right hand, whether you're right or left dominant, take your right hand. Let's see, I want to get it in the camera. Where am I? There I am. Take your right hand, and I want you to do, put your middle three fingers down, and so just do the what the Hawaiian people call mahalo sign. So it's thumb out, pinky finger up, okay? I'm sorry, it's hard to get in the camera. And then you're going to turn your palm towards you, sit up nice and tall, and relax your shoulders down your back. And I want you to take your right thumb and press it against your right nostril, just gently. And then take a deep breath in through your left nostril. Take your pinky finger, close the left nostril off, open the right nostril, breathe out the right nostril.
Now make sure you breathe all the way out. You might even lean a little bit forward to get all that air out. Then breathe in through the right nostril. Close the right nostril, open the left, breathe out. Breathe in through the left nostril. All the way now, close it off, breathe out through the right. All the way. Breathe in through the right. Fill yourself up. Close it off, open the left, breathe out. You can close your eyes if you like. Breathe in through the left. Close it, open the right, breathe out through the right. Just listen to the sound of my voice. Bring in the air through the right. Close it, breathe out through the left. Breathe in through the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Deeper and deeper. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. And on this inhale, keep going on your own. If you get lost, just start over. Relax your jaws. Let your shoulders slide down your back. Lengthen your spine. Relax. And we're going to do one more round and then breathe naturally. And when you're finished, keep your eyes closed. Let your hands fall to your lap. Relax and breathe naturally and normally. Take note of how you're feeling. Excellent. And with your eyes closed, I want you to make a little shape with your mouth as if you're going to sip water through a straw, just a little tiny O. And breathe in through that straw like this. Make a little sound. When you breathe out, keep the little O mouth, but let the air escape on its own naturally all the way out. Don't force it. Watch the breath go away. And breathe in through that straw. And exhale through the straw, but not forcing. allowing. Feel all the tension slip from your body as the air escapes through the straw. And as you breathe in through the straw, take note that your eyebrows are not scrunching, your jaws aren't clenching, shoulders aren't hunching. As you exhale, just let it go through the straw. Draw up your pelvic floor a little bit to give your spine more comfort and support. Breathe in through the straw. Exhale. Very, very quietly breathe in through the straw. And as you exhale, do it very quietly and softly. Continue to breathe this way. What we're doing is clearing the astral spine, the central channel between the two sides of the body, the two hemispheres of the brain. Bringing everything into coherence. Relax and keep breathing. Let the world slip away. And as you do, your vibration raises, the frequency becomes lighter. We become closer and closer to each other. And then relax your face. Again, breathe normally. Keep the eyes closed. Stay deeply relaxed. Feel how your body feels here. And then notice the way your energy feels. Take note. You feel more balanced within yourself now. Calmer. That's right. And with the eyes closed, we'd like you to do now a simple breath, just inhaling through the nose, and think about breathing up from the pelvic floor through the spine up to the crown of the head. And then as you breathe out, think about going out the back of the head from the top and down the back of the body with your exhalation. Take that breath in from the pelvic floor up through the spine. And then down the back of the spine, outside the body, as you exhale. Relaxing more deeply. Breathing in up through the spine, from the root chakra. And then exhaling down the back of the body, near the spine. Up the spine, inhale. Down the spine, exhale. And the next inhale, see a bright blue ball of light pulling up as you inhale through the astral spine, from the pelvic floor up through all the chakric system, popping out the crown chakra at the top of the head and rolling down the back of the skull, the back of the spine as you exhale. Watch the blue ball. Down, down, down. Pulling it back in through the pelvic floor, up the center tube of the spine. The blue ball, as you inhale, suck it all the way up there. Let it give energy to the pineal gland at the center top of the skull. Pop it out the top. Roll it down the back as you exhale. Relaxing deeply. Very good. Bringing it back up through the center of the astral spine. This blue ball of light is your conscious awareness. Let it grow brighter and brighter and brighter. Pop it out the top of the skull. Roll it down the back of the skull and the spine. Literally feel it now as it warms the body, going down the body. Excellent. Bring it up through the spine, warming the central spine and all of the internal body. Pop it out the top, roll it down the back of the skull and the spine, relaxing the neck in particular, through the shoulder blades and on down. And this last rotation, bring it up through the astral spine and bring it right to the center of the brain and stop it. Continue to breathe naturally. Let it hover there. See the bright blue ball of light at the center of your brain now. Really see it, feel it. As you breathe normally, keep the eyes closed softly. This is your conscious awareness. Remember, your consciousness is always working. It's always on. It's always manipulating 5 billion trillion things at once, even without you being aware of it. What we're attempting to do today and in the coming months and weeks and years ahead as we work with you is to bring more self-awareness to your conscious awareness. Being consciously aware in all moments of your existence will bring you into a much higher plane of living, happier, more abundant, more divinely coherent. So see this blue ball of shining light, your conscious awareness, there in the middle of the brain. And then I would like for you in your imagination, which is one of your most beautiful and powerful tools, I want you to move the blue ball of light now through the brain to the left side of the brain all the way. See it move. Excellent. And now slowly begin to move the blue ball of light, shining brightly all the way across to the edge of the right side of the brain, the outer edge. Excellent. Slowly and consciously move that ball of light now across through the whole brain to the outer edge of the left side. You might even start to feel things there in your brain as you move it towards the right, crossing through that small space between the two hemispheres and then over to the edge of the outside of the right brain. And now, just like an old video game, remember Pong? Or maybe you've played ping pong or tennis. Start to move the ball of light across the brain to the left, and then across to the right, then across to the left. Each time you move it, you're bringing more and more balance, more coherency between the two hemispheres of the brain and between the two sides of your energy body, the Ida and Pingala, the masculine, the feminine, the creative, the analytical. See the ball of light moving faster and faster between the two hemispheres of the brain. And as it does, it begins to clear away any of the detritus that is collected there in the brain, any of the negativity, the old information that is no longer useful, anything, including any physical discordance in the brain, any clogged parts, any blockages. See it start to clear away. Moving faster now, one hemisphere to the other, the blue ball of light. Faster. Faster, staying relaxed and going deeper. Faster. See it until it is a blue stripe of light. You cannot, it's moving so fast you can't see the ball anymore. It has become a large line of blue light. See it. Be with it. Connection. And now from the center of that line of bright blue light, send down to the heart a line of bright blue light and feel it expanding through the heart, glowing blue in that heart, radiating out in bursts of light, constant bursts of pulsing light from the heart as it continues to speed through the brain, back and forth, up and down. The heart, the brain, the heart, the brain, the heart, the brain. See it. Be with it. Feel it. And keeping that visualization, now send a stream of the blue light out the crown of the head, igniting the pineal gland up through the crown and connecting out and radiating beautiful streams of light to all frequencies above the one that you reside in now. Reach out and meet us. Reach out and connect with us. Be with us. And keeping these centers ignited, we have now made connection. We welcome you to stay relaxed, coherent, and to slowly open your eyes if you choose, or to keep them closed as we begin our message for today. And so we welcome you, all of you, to this wonderful community. If you are here listening live or at any time in your future past, please know that there is no mistake that you have joined this community. Each one of you is very important to the mission here at hand. The mission is to help waken and propel humanity to evolve and to grow in peace and harmony and happiness, in love, abundance, to the place where we reside. For we are you, having already done this, remembering that your quantum science describes this as no time, no space, non-local reality, non-local consciousness. There are infinite iterations of you in all frequencies of creation. And we exist in one, as we exist in all, and you exist in one as you exist in all, and yet we tend to focus on one at a time, especially when you are a human being in the third dimensional earth plane. We are merely connecting with you, our future ancestors, to wake you up, to remind you of who you are, and to also encourage you to keep going. Our big message is you have already accomplished everything that you wish for. All you need to do is to raise your frequency, stay consciously raised in that vibration, and to continue to live from that frequency of positivity, love, and unconditional respect for life. And soon you will find that the world that you reside in has changed. Actually, what has changed is your focus. And so we encourage you to continue on with this work and to continue on gathering in groups and sharing this information as much as possible. We know this is true. We have told you many times you have achieved everything that you wish to achieve. We would not be here speaking to you now as your quote unquote future selves to remind you. Today we wish to congratulate you on all of the fine work you've done so far. And again, there's no mistake that each one of you is here right now, listening to these words and receiving all of the upgraded information into your energy bodies, into your intellects, and indeed into even your DNA, your cells, your atomic structure as a human being. As we speak through our partner, each one of you is getting a customized version of upgraded information, healing, balancing, and support in whatever way you need it. Please allow this to happen and know that it is good, for it will support you in your work as you move forward on this mission. Today, we incorporate our message with the message of the Good News Day project that was spoken of before at the beginning of the program. We wish to elaborate on that just a little bit. Having spoken a while ago about your conscious awareness and staying consciously aware in your thoughts, words, and deeds as much as possible. To be successful in this mission, it takes a lot of discipline, but that discipline brings pleasure. Being consciously aware of everything you say, feel, think, and take into your own experience will help you move forward. And so we underscore the message from before. Try to be that person who spreads good news. But don't just spread good news. Be the good news. Perpetuate the goodness in life. Consciously attempt every day to add more and more positivity into your life. Help a neighbor. Be kind to a stranger. Speak more positively in your internal dialogue to yourself. Every time you catch yourself complaining or reigniting that negative feedback loop in your own head, that voice that's always denigrating you or complaining, stop yourself and immediately express in some way at least 2 positive things. Perhaps 2 things you're grateful for, or 2 things that you can do for someone else or the world that is positive. Start to feed yourself, nourish yourself not just with more positive foods and beverages, but positive thoughts, positive information. Begin to break the habitual addiction to the spectacularized negativity of your culture. If you see something that is negative, as soon as you notice that you're looking at it, move away from it and find something positive to look at. Whether it is a social media post, a television program, a movie, a book, or a conversation. Perhaps you find yourself singing along to music in your car and you realize there are negative lyrics or connotation to the music. Switch channels. Thousands and thousands and thousands of times every day, you are bombarded by negativity. You are being programmed. But now you're waking up, and we are here to tell you that the program does not need to be adhered to. Start overriding the program with the energy and the information and the upgrades that we are activating within each of you right now. You will be able to do this easier and easier and easier until it becomes an effortless way of life. Be the positive change you wish to see in the world. Be the progenitor of good things to report about. Be that person who rakes the leaves for the neighbor. Be that person who helps someone across the street who is struggling. Be that person who reaches out to someone who is calling out in pain. And be that person who, as many times a day as they possibly can, remembers to look in the mirror and speak positively and kindly to oneself. We also encourage you, as we always do, to meditate as much as possible, however you choose to express meditation in whatever form is best for you. This is key to your ascension. The more you meditate, the deeper you go within yourself, the more you close out the negative information that is flowing around you, the faster you will ascend into the higher vibrations and the more powerful you will become in the world that you reside in now and in all the worlds that you focus on from here on out. You are all superheroes. You are all divine, unlimited beings, because we are all part of the same huge entity that is life, and there is no limitations to what we can be. So why not use that power to increase the good and finally eliminate the focus on the negative? Remember, all of the negativity that you're experiencing in your life right now and in the past has been nothing more than a thought experiment. It is part of the duality karmic construct of the third dimensional earth plane. It is a very small project, an experiment, if you will, that many of us explored for a time, but it is not the way of the universe. It is not the way of most of creation. It is but one small experiment. Most of you, indeed all of you who are on this particular experience with us, are finally finished with it. You've learned everything you're going to learn from it, and now you wish to let it go. We are teaching you today and here on out, as we pair with you, on how to clip the cords from that experiment to finally let it go, wash your hands, move out of the laboratory into the greater university of life, where you'll be a lot happier. And so we wish to just address one other thing today. As we mentioned, meditation is very key in moving forward in this process. We encourage you, at least when you first awaken in the morning, or whenever you awaken from sleep, and right before you go to sleep, to relax deeply and to just look within yourself, behind the blackness of your eyelids, and notice if you can see the internal star field. Just as when you go outside on a clear night and look up in your sky, and you see a blanket of diamond-like stars in the velvet sky, that exists within you as well. It exists physically within you. Indeed, in each of your atoms, there is a universe full of galaxies, full of solar systems, full of planets that are inhabited by beings within you. What you see when you look up in the night sky is simply a reflection of what is inside of you. And so we encourage you, just a little hint, to look for that star field when you go inside, the next time you meditate, the next time you close your eyes, and relax into it. And then notice if anything else happens. That's the only hint we're going to give you today as we begin to teach deeper and deeper with this process. That's your first bit of homework, other than to perpetuate goodness in your world on a day-to-day basis. Go within, become deeply relaxed, quiet your thoughts, look into the blackness behind the back of your eyelids, and then notice if you can see the star field. If you can't, imagine it. And then watch what happens. Give yourself time and space to do this. Each one will move forward in their own pace and their own strength and their own timing. But this is a key element to what will be coming in future broadcasts. And so we will leave you with that for now, as we continue to work with each of you singularly through this experience. We invite you now to open your eyes if they are not already open, and to stretch, to yawn, to move about. And then we will open the floor to the question and answer interactive period. Please don't be shy. We're here to serve you. Thank you. And so if you will, if you have a question, please raise your hand, and our partner will allow us to help. And so, Kosta, Makreas, you can unmute yourself. And how can we help you, sir?
Thank you very much for that very powerful experience meditation, first of all. And you touched in it on something that you had alluded to before, maybe a few months ago, when I first started learning about this from you. And you had said at that time that by the end of this year, 2019, we would see a mass awakening in our timeline of people. And I just wonder how that is going, if you have any update, any further information on that.
Absolutely. The Great Awakening, as we have been speaking about it, has increased exponentially since we last spoke about it. And so what we are trying to help you to understand is that by decreasing your focus on all of the negative propaganda that is in your world right now, all the negative programming, and focusing on positivity, raising your vibration, your frequency with these practices that we taught you today or reviewed with you today, or doing any sort of spiritual practice that is your own, what you're going to start noticing is the signs of the Great Awakening. You will start to see more and more people interacting with you who are of the same ilk, if you will, in the same mindset, in the same heart set. You will start to see many things in your world happening that are almost unbelievably good that you didn't think were going to happen. Now, is everything going to change in the blink of an eye? In human terms, probably no, because in the third dimensional earth plane world, things move very slowly. That's why they are material in the physical plane. They move slowly. All of the atoms and molecules move slowly so that it feels like there is a material, firm property to everything. But for us, it's happened in the blink of an eye. You have moved so far forward in what you would term this last year of your time. You as humanity have moved eons forward in this last 10 to 12 months compared to all of humanity's existence for the last 20,000 years on the planet. And indeed have moved way forward than the last several million years on your planet in this last 10 to 12 months. Now, some of you will say, I still see a lot of bad going on. Nobody around me seems very positive. No one seems to have awakened. The more you start practicing what we're telling you, the more you're going to start noticing it. And why is that? Because you'll be in the same resonant frequency as the others who have awakened. And because of that, as you keep doing this practice, you are going to be transmitting that energy. It's going to affect the people around you, and they will start waking up as well. Until one day you will realize, wow, there are more people who are awake and doing good around me than there are people who are not. And you will start to notice that you're not paying attention to all of the low vibrational or low level activities that are happening in the world. And please know, they're going to continue to happen, but you're going to be moving up out of that world into a different world. All right. Until finally one day you will no longer have that experience. You will no longer have, for instance, the same constructs that you have in this particular frequency, where there are news services that are continually spoon feeding or force feeding negative information into you to make you feel weak and to keep you enslaved. There will not be economic or governmental or religious constructs that are going to perpetuate that either. But it is incumbent upon you to continue this practice and all of the other practices that each of you individually are pulling into your own sphere of awareness to raise your frequency. And as you do, you will start to notice what we already know, which is it's happened. It's happened. And everybody is still kind of walking around with blindfolds on going, it's happened in me, but I don't see it anywhere else. So our job is to help you take the blindfold off and see that in your world. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Thank you so much for expanding on that. And it's wonderful news.
It is wonderful news. And it's because of the work that you and all of the other people who are listening are doing as individuals and as collectives. And we just encourage you to continue to do this personally and in groups as much as possible. Anything that is positive, and watch the world continue to move forward in this awakening. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you. That's real encouraging.
Thank you. All right. And so now we are going to ask Anne Vlahos to speak to us, please. Anne?
Hello. First, I'd like to also express my gratitude for the wonderful transmission. It was very much felt in my body, certainly in the upper part of my body. So thank you for that. It's
Great.
always such a gift.
Thank you.
My question today is, I very clearly get the message of positivity and the practice of gratitude in the world, and I do try to do that on a very regular basis. But is there any specific direction you have for me that I can do and begin to expand my practice to be of greater service to humanity?
Yes, well, you have a communication skill that is very needed in this world, and we ask you to continue to do that. As far as writing, as far as getting your ideas out there to others, we encourage you speaking, doing public speaking if you feel up to it. Continue to do that as our advocate. That would be the greatest service that you could be to humanity. And what you're doing is wonderful, and we encourage you to keep doing it. And especially on the days when you don't think anything is there, just do it. Just start, and it will flow through you. You are a wonderful channel for the energy. You are a wonderful channel for this higher vibrational conscious awareness to break through, to solidify in your culture. And so we encourage you to do that. Please do.
Great. Thank you very much. And I'd like to express my gratitude to the channel and to Kosta and to this community. It's my first time joining, and it will certainly not be my last. Thank you.
We thank you very much. And at this point, too, we want to encourage any of you who has a particular way of connecting with others and getting the information out that you are getting, because many of you have started to channel the information yourselves, whether it's with writing books or articles or music or creating art or blogging or whatever it is you do, public speaking. If you have anything that would be of helpful service to others, you might want to write that information into the chat so that we can have our partners save that and publish that after this, so that all of you can stay together in this community as well. It's very helpful to do that. So thank you once again. And now the person under the name Co-Created Happy, you can unmute and speak with us. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for all you're doing today. I've had to focus myself on finding true health after being sickened, I think, by our pharmaceutical and other industries. I'm just wondering, is there any way with the changes that are coming that we can see some more help from other beings outside of us? Because most of the people I talk to, I can't convince them to do this holistic stuff that really works, really is effective. And it's sort of, I think we need outside help to correct our bodies from all the toxics and all the things we've been exposed to. And I don't know, is there anything we can recruit other beings for that too?
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we are doing with you today, individually and as a group collectively, working on, you know, all levels of your health, but especially your physical health, because you are still residing in a physical vibration here in this co-creation. And so we are helping you to become aware of even more and more ways in your reality to increase your health and prevent ill health or dis-ease. And as you begin to function more properly and more, you know, effortlessly in your bodies, you will be able to spread that word. Please know that we are but one tiny segment of so many civilizations who are working with you as third dimensional earth plane human beings right now to help, you know, lift the whole planet up into greater conscious self-awareness and into that evolved state that we're talking about, that we all exist in. So know that as you make your own discoveries, please, in whatever way, shape, or form is best for you, please communicate that to the public, whether again it's writing or doing a little video or sharing a little presentation at your local health food store once in a while, or just sharing with your friends. If you have access to being in the healthcare industry, perhaps you might consider giving free demonstration or little talks to anyone who works at your local medical facilities, just to alert them to how things are going with you or how things are going with others. But please know, we are right there with you. And it will become more and more apparent that you're being guided and supported as you continue your journey. Not every one of you will do this in particular as your purpose, but you in particular are going to be doing this as your purpose. And so we thank you for that, because it's a very important work. There has to be balance between not just the mind and the heart, but of course the body, while you are physical beings. So does that make sense to you?
Yes, and thank you so much. Thank you all for putting this on and joining us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. We're so glad you're here. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. And so Rhonda D., you are up next, please.
Thank you so very much for being here. I apologize for being a bit late. I wasn't certain I would even be able to make this transmission, but I'm very grateful that I was. I have a couple questions regarding my location for my work. There's been some changes going on there, and I'm starting to get a feeling like I should be open to an alternative place. But I have to say, I'm kind of, I don't want to say anchored. I love it where I'm at, and I've created a great sacred space, a wonderful portal that my clients are aware of and have commented on. Some are even starting to see beings while they're being worked with me. Thank you again for that, and the others that are helping. I feel resistance in wanting to move again. I have history.
Yes.
So
So
can you please address that?
Yes, we'd love to address it. We've been aware that there are changes going on in your physical locality of where you are doing your sacred work. And by the way, thank you so much for the sacred work you provide. It is very important. And the people who are coming to you are being awakened and charged with the frequency, and those, so they're going out in the world and sharing that as well. But we wish to remind you, as we have in the past, physical location is not important to what you do. You all, as a collective group in this particular point of non-locality in space-time, are learning pretty quickly that you do not have to worry about your physical locality to do whatever you do, that those who are resonant with what you do will come to you wherever you are and however you are doing it. You know, the physical locale, yes, you can get into a nice comfort zone, and so can they, about where it is and how to get there and how beautiful it is and how comfortable it is, but it is not necessary. And you will be guided, and you will know, and you, dear one, you know when Spirit is speaking to you, when your higher self is speaking to you about choices. You will know when it's time to find or to switch to the place that you have found. Resistance only sets up more block to what you're doing. Please remember that.
Yes.
Try to stay in the flow.
Yes, I'd like assistance for me to release my resistance.
Well, we're working with all of you on that today. Please remember, everyone, when you feel resistance in yourself to something, that's another point of conscious awareness that is growing within you. That is your, that's a growing pain, if you want to call it that. When you notice that you are resisting something, when something feels uncomfortable to you, that's when you need to push through. That is the point of power for you. when you find yourself in a place of kind of discomfort, out of your comfort zone, that's when you need to push through and ask yourself, what am I supposed to be looking for here? Is there more information here that I am trying to block because it might mean more work for me to do right now? It might mean that I have to look deeper into myself to, do some more inner work on a past wound that's coming up. Is this a karmic pattern firing that wants me to finish and complete this lesson that I've been working on for eons? All of these things. If you try to escape it, if you try to ignore it, it is going to come back more and more, let's just say, apparently, until it gets your attention so much that you will not be able to resist it. But in the meantime, what you're doing is stagnating that energy. It begins to solidify and it causes a block, whether that's a physical block in your body causing dis-ease or discomfort or a condition that you no longer want, or it may set up a block to the energy that is usually flowing coherently between you and the universe to bring in exactly what you need when you need it. So again, we encourage you, when you find yourself out of your comfort zone, that usually speaks about resistance, and the resistance is within you. Are we communicating?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Now,
All
I
right.
have a part two very quickly. It's what you touched on briefly regarding when we raise our frequency, we change to another world. That's the frequency that we're more resonant with. And I'm seeing a lot of signs of that. And what I'm noticing is at one moment, I seem to be in this one particular one, and then and there's physical signs. I mean, it looks physically different. I'm also noticing some of my long-term clients. I'm noticing a physiology change. Like, for example, the rib cage may be more, well, it's different. Even the skeletal structure seems a little different than what I recalled from. And I think this is part of the world I'm changing to, that the actual physiology of my clients are changing. And I'm finding that very interesting, and I'm trying really hard not to overanalyze it. Okay, which world am I in now? And I think what you mentioned was that I should not worry about the where so much as to what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And yes, thank you for bringing that up, because we know there are others on this in this experience with us today, or in the whenever they're listening to this broadcast, who will identify with that and say, yeah, I was walking down the street today and I noticed that the building that's usually there, it doesn't look quite the same as it did yesterday or has in the last 10 years, but I know that building is the same building. What's happening is you are moving in frequency, and there will be subtle differences, and sometimes there'll be quite dynamic differences. And again, what we're trying to get across to you is to not pay as much attention to the physical things that you are noticing. Pay more attention to your reaction to, and start to allow yourself or encourage yourself to respond to what is happening. If you notice something different, for instance, in your client's rib cage, go, oh yes, I must be moving in frequency a little bit as they are. And this is wonderful. Now let's get back to the magic. All right.
Yes.
Stop focusing on things that is not as important as just acknowledging that, yes, I am noticing changes, and congratulate yourself. It means you have moved up a grade, and that's all it means. It doesn't mean that you have to do anything new other than you have to continue on your path. Does that make sense?
Yes, because I actually get really kind of excited when I notice these things. It's like, oh, okay, this is what this means. I'm shifting, and this is simply an alternate world, and it's okay.
Yes,
and
that excitement is very important. Remember, excitement, joy, passion, those are the things that propel you faster into the increased frequency. Now, most of you will not notice outward changes as much as you will notice personal changes first. You may notice one day, for instance, that you no longer have pain in your joints in your fingers that you've had for several years. And you're thinking, wow, I haven't done anything different. But yes, you have. You've done the work on the energy level and in the subtler levels of your being that have finally crystallized into the physical being. And that is what will help you change that physical form. You know, the genes cannot help but express what the energetic template is dictating to them. And so, again, we don't want you to focus on anything that you're noticing physical other than to let it be a congratulatory sign that you're doing good work. All right?
Yes, and just this will be the very last thing. I know we're on a time schedule.
Yes.
So when my clients come in and, you know, after our work, I usually have some time to talk with them and kind of try to help set the energy before they leave. A lot of times they say they felt, you know, pain relief, as you mentioned, as an example, dramatic pain relief. Is there something else I should be trying to convey to them other than just what I do energetically to help them maintain that frequency and that level of radiant health rather than reverting back to their old paradigms?
Well, you can pass along some of the practices, the simple information that we're giving you, for instance, today. But again, we encourage each of you to meet the people that you're working with where they are and speak to them in their own language. You will know what's best for you to speak about as far as helpful additional things when you are meeting with, working with, or even just interacting with other people. But don't try to cookie cutter give a program to every single person that you interact with, especially in your field of work. You will know what's best to speak to them about and what is best left unsaid and energetically projected at the time. When they're ready to hear it, they will hear it, whether it's from you or not. Don't get into the ego trap of thinking you're the person that has to bring this information to the world.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly. Thank you so much, because you're right. There is no cookie cutter when it comes to this work. It's all completely internal and individual. Thank you so much.
It absolutely is.
Thank you.
We thank you too. Thank you very much. And so now, Fernanda, we're here to answer your questions.
Oh, hello. Thank you so much, Deborah. And thank you for this transmission. I really express my gratitude. I have noticed a massive change with me this year, and I can proudly say that I keep on the positive side most of the time. And my world outside seems that it's just crumbling, absolutely crumbling. Everything's changing. Nothing is the same. There is uncertainty at every single level. And there is a little bit of lack of clarity, but I'm just going with the flow and trusting the process. There is a trust there that is much powerful than ever before. And also, sometimes there is that question is, when is that fine line that you just trust and let the boat go down the river? And because of lack of clarity, you know, I'm not pushing actions. I'm just letting it go. So if there's a message, you know, directly to me on the essence that could support me on this journey.
Yes, dear Fernanda. Well, what this works right into what we've been saying with the last person, and that is when you feel a lack of clarity and uncertainty, that is almost most assuredly the point of power when you can create something better. Okay, it's a place where you're out of your comfort zone. When you lack clarity or you feel confused, that's the time to step back, to go within, and to be still. Now, there are times in the physical world when you can't do that. For instance, you know, you're driving your car and you're in terrible traffic and you've gotten lost and here comes an oncoming bus straight at you. you're not going to close your eyes and meditate. You're going to take a deep breath, relax, and let your body turn the car the way it needs to turn, and trust that you're doing the right thing, and you will. It's the same thing. You use the boat on the river as a metaphor, and it's a good one. What we have to tell you now is allow your boat to continue to go down the river, even if you don't know if there's a waterfall ahead or not. You have to trust that your higher self, that your soul is guiding that boat in the most perfect way. And the way that you know you're going in the right direction is to take note of what's going on within you and directly around you. If you feel excited about it, if you feel passionate about it, if you even feel curious about it, you're going the right direction. If you feel things that are more negatively associated, such as fear, trepidation, anger, resentment, things like that, then you need to, as soon as possible, take a break, go within, meditate deeply, and just set the intention that you are going to get the information you need to help redirect your boat. Okay? The way you understand what direction to go is to know which is the thing or the next step that grabs your attention, that is more exciting, joyful, loving, appealing than anything else that you have is in your choice menu at that time. And sometimes those things will seem outlandish to you. They won't seem like they're relevant to what you're trying to choose, but we say trust the process and choose it anyway. And does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. It does.
Okay. And this is a very valuable question, and we ask for everyone to pay great attention to this, because this is an important lesson for all of you. We have to reiterate to you, there is no reason to be afraid of anything. Anything. You are merely participating in a thought experiment by being human in the third dimensional physical earth world. And all of the things that you think are disastrous, painful, horrific, or even scary, it's not real. It is nothing more than information. It's energy and information that you are using to learn something with. So trust that there's an infinite sized you that is guiding the human you. Trust that the infinite, or what we call the ultimate self, is guiding you exactly the way you need to go, even if it seems discordant. But if you feel very bombarded by negative emotions regarding something, then it's time to get still and to go within and relax and ask. Just ask, what is my next step? And then be quiet. Don't ask anything else. Don't do anything else. And sit there or lie there in the stillness until you get an answer. And that answer will be the first thing that feels exciting, interesting, positive, kind, or loving. You go do that, or you go pay attention to that. And it will take you the next steps to where you need to go. Absolutely. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
and
you
you
so
cannot
much.
you cannot and you will not make a mistake. Most people are afraid to make a mistake because they're afraid they're going to hurt themselves or harm someone else or create more karma, or the ultimate fear for humans in the physical 3D world is that they're going to die. But there is no death, and once you leave this body, you'll realize again, you'll remember. We're trying to help you remember without leaving the body right now, and we're sending this information to all of you right now. There is nothing to be afraid of, okay? It's just propaganda that has been fed you from many, many eons to control you and enslave you. And it's no longer purposeful. Don't be afraid of what you're doing. Do what you're doing with vitality and positive energy and love and goodness and joyfulness, and you cannot make a mistake. You will absolutely grow in abundance and happiness and in purpose. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for the question, because it was very, very important that we get that information out today. All right. Is there anyone else? All right. Well, we are coming up on the time that we agreed that we would probably be here for about an hour and a half. If there are no more questions, we will say thank you for participating today and for being here to receive everything that we have endeavored to bring to you. We will continue to work with you. We do want to let you know that this is only the beginning, especially if this is your first time. This work will continue with you in the next minutes, hours, days, weeks, and months. You will continue to have more and more encouragement from your internal self and from us and from the outside world about what to do. And so we are just want you to know that. We want you to know that it is definitely important that you take extra good care of yourself after this broadcast, to drink pure water, to eat clean food, again, to feed your intellect with positive, good, and loving things, to be the positive change in your world consciously all the time. It's helpful for most people after they leave these broadcasts to do some sort of grounding work as well. It may be helpful for you to go outside and, be in nature for a few moments, to put your bare feet on the ground if you can, or to go stand and hug a tree or be in nature. If you can't, we encourage you to do some stretching and to, kind of do some positive things for your body as well, to bring you back into this place. You have been in a very high frequency for quite some time. That frequency will partially leave, but you will not be in the same frequency you were in when you started this program. And so it may feel a little bit different to you. So just go with it and be joyful with it. If you want to dance or stretch or do some yoga or Tai Chi, or walking or whatever, do that. I see that there is one other person who has raised their hand. We're going to take that question, and that is Michelle. Go ahead.
Thank you. And thank you for this session. Also, my first time, and actually my initial question started to be similar to what I think you've answered, was really just about knowing my purpose in being of service to humanity and the one. And then, but quickly also, I feel like I'm connecting nightly with a particular star light in the sky, and I was wondering if you had any comment on that. Thank you.
Again, very, very good question, because many of you on this broadcast have the same experience. You either go outside, look up, and you see a particular star that is always catching your attention. It might start to flash at you. It might start to rotate. Others of you will notice the same numbers, for instance, popping up in your reality, like on your clock or on billboards or on oracle cards or whatever. Others of you will see orbs of light in your environment, or will get signs. Some of you will maybe even get apports. You'll be walking along, and there's money that just, a penny shows up in front of you, or a feather or something. No matter where you go, this happens. These are all symbols of contact. All right. Now, right now we are talking to you from the form that you might call extraterrestrial form, but we are you in another frequency. We are your, for instance, your future descendants, basically. There is no separation between you and any other part of life. We are all part of the same thing. But human beings in the physical 3D earth world like to label things. And so what we can tell you about that particular star in your situation is it is a part of yourself that is trying to communicate with you. All right. It is a light body. It is the heart center of another civilization that is trying to get in touch with you. And so when you notice that, just let yourself gaze at it, for instance. Make sure that it knows that you have no fear and invite it to come closer, if you will. Eventually you're going to see more and more activity from that, or you will start to get what you would call a download of information that consciously you're getting the downloads already from it, but you're going to start to get more and more conscious information, telepathic information, if you will, from it. You might get pictures, you might get words, you might get feelings, whatever. And then if you continue to have this relationship, and this goes for the rest of you, whether it's a star or a craft or numbers, or you see a shape moving in your room, whatever, the more you relax into accepting that it's communicating with you, that you are connected at the heart, the more you will have a personal relationship. And indeed, you may get a physical visage of a being eventually standing right there in front of you to interact with. Not always, because each form of life expresses in different ways, but that is sometimes something to be expected if you invite it, if that is what you want. But you must invite first. No one is going to get closer until you invite. All right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and we can't wait to hear what happens next. Thank you. And so we will, because we are running out of time, our partner has to get on with other things and prepare for the one for this evening in her time. We do want to say thank you to all of you. And the last part of the message she's going to give to you. But before we bring her back in, we want to say thank you once again for being here. Thank you for doing what you are doing, because what you are doing means that we live. We would not be here were it not for what you are doing right here, right now, today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. And in Lakesh, we are the teachers. Wow, so howdy everybody. It's me again, and I can't wait to listen to the recording because it feels really good. It feels like there was some really fun stuff that was happening. I usually don't hear it. It's hard to put into words when I'm merged with them, but my consciousness is not focused on what's happening, and so I usually don't hear it or what I experience is feelings. So I'm feeling wonderful right now, and I hope you are all too. I wanted to end our broadcast today with just a note of thanks from myself. We are almost to the end of our year of 2019. I am so grateful to everyone who has interacted with me, has, asked for sessions or worked with me as I give my services to the world. Many of you may only be familiar with this particular piece of work that I do, which is channeling the star teachers. I do a lot of other stuff in my sacred work, and that you can check out at my website, which is debzshakti.com. You can see it on the screen right there, but it'll be in the in the video as well, but in the details. But what I want to do is express my gratitude for each and every one of you, whether this is your first moment with me or I've known you for decades in this lifetime. And that is for all of you who attended today, who are listening right now. I would like to make an offer. I've already got my once a year gratitude special for my services, which is 30% off of any service until the first of the year. But for those of you listening today, I just want to add a little extra gift, and that is for anyone who would like an hour service that I offer, whether it's channeling or energy work or psychic consultation or counseling. I do a lot of contact counseling as well as other counseling. Anything that's an hour or less, I am offering to each of you for a love offering up to the end of the year. And because I can't make two different specials on my scheduler, unfortunately, I would ask if you would like to schedule that hour, between a half hour and hour service with me for love offering, whatever it is you would like. And it can be anything. If you don't know what you need, your soul will tell me when we get together. But if you want to schedule a service with me for up to an hour, just send me a little email or a Facebook message, and all of that information will be included in the recording of this video too. Or you can do it at my website. Just let me know, and we'll get together and set up a time. And I can either take your donation through PayPal or I take plastic too, so that's fine, and we'll work it out. And no donation is too small or too large. Just know that it is through love offering. So that is what I want to extend to all of you. And you can do that as a gift certificate for someone else too, if you like. Just let me know. Just mention that this was the Star Teachers thank you gift when you write to me and ask for that service. And then let me know what the best times and dates for you are, and we will confab that way and we'll get it set up for you. I promise. So I thank you so much, and I wish all of you well. And I will publish this recording probably sometime in the next 24 hours on my YouTube channel and on the website and on the Facebook page. So hopefully you'll get it. And thank you very much for everything. I love all of you. Have a beautiful day. And if you want, meet with us, let's see, in 4 hours. Again, we'll be doing another one. Thank you so much. Namaste.